Have you ever noticed something strange? The harder you try to start a conversation, the faster it ends. You say, "Hey, how are you?" and a few seconds later it's over. But then someone else walks into the same room, says very little, and suddenly people lean closer. They listen. It's not because they're funnier. It's not because they look better. It's something deeper. When they speak, their words feel heavy. They matter. Today, I want to share 6 simple phrases that naturally draw people in. Stay with me, because the fourth one is the most misunderstood. Once you understand it, you'll feel an immediate shift in how people respond to you. The Stoic truth is simple: presence beats performance. The Stoics understood that attraction isn't about talking more. It's about saying less and meaning every word. These aren't social tricks. They reflect character, curiosity, honesty, empathy, calmness, gratitude, and boundaries. Imagine someone sharing a story with you. Most people listen only long enough to reply. They jump in with advice, comparisons, or their own experience, pulling the spotlight back to themselves. But when you simply say, "Tell me more about that," and then stay quiet, something rare happens. The other person feels truly seen. People don't remember you because you were interesting. They remember you because they felt interesting around you. Now think about how often people pretend to know things they don't. When asked a question, the instinct is to sound smart, to give a vague answer, to hide uncertainty. But people feel that. Trust fades. Compare that to someone who calmly says, "I don't know." No apology. No excuses. Just honesty. Socrates was known for this kind of wisdom. Knowing your limits isn't weakness. It's the beginning of real understanding. And strangely, when you stop pretending, people start listening more. When someone shares pain, stress, or failure, most people rush to fix it. They offer solutions, advice, or stories of their own. They mean well, but it often feels like judgment. Instead, imagine responding with just 3 words: "That sounds hard." You're not fixing anything. You're not minimizing their pain. You're simply acknowledging it. Stoic strength isn't cold. It's controlled. You can be gentle without being weak. When you validate someone's experience, you give them space to breathe. Then there is silence. Most people fear it. The moment a conversation goes quiet, they rush to fill the space with nervous words, jokes, or forced laughter. They think silence means failure. It doesn't. Silence is strength. Watch someone who is comfortable with silence. They pause. They don't rush. And when they finally speak, people listen. Their silence tells everyone that what comes next matters. The Stoics knew that when you stop running from silence, you stop running from yourself. There's also a difference between saying thank you and saying I appreciate you. Thank you can feel transactional. You did something, so I acknowledge it. But I appreciate you speaks to the person. It says, I see you. I see your character. Used rarely and sincerely, it's powerful. In a world obsessed with productivity, recognizing humanity is rare. And finally, there is one word most people avoid, even though it's the most freeing word of all: no. People constantly ask for your time, your energy, your attention. Many people say yes out of guilt or fear of disappointing others. But every time you say yes to what doesn't matter, you quietly say no to what does. Your peace. Your focus. Your growth. Watch someone who has learned to say no. They pause. They consider. And if the answer is no, they say it calmly. No long explanations. No guilt. Strong boundaries don't push the right people away. They filter them in. All of this works for one reason. It's not performance. It's presence. Be curious enough to listen. Humble enough to admit you don't know. Gentle enough to validate. Calm enough to sit in silence. Aware enough to appreciate others. Strong enough to protect your time. Attraction isn't about adding more. It's about removing what's unnecessary. The noise. The need to impress. The fear of rejection. And the moment you stop performing, people stop watching and act and start noticing who you really are. Now choose one thing to practice in the next 24 hours. Tell me more about that. I don't know. That sounds hard. Silence. I appreciate you. Or no. Practice it, and watch how the world responds when your words finally carry weight.